Hey everyone, Law Productions here, and today it is very exciting because as of today, August 23rd, we have the Gunner GHPC 2022-0822 patch that just released 18 hours ago. Uh, is that actually technically yesterday? Whatever. But anyways, this one is very, very cool. It's got a lot of really nice features and things that I'm going to get into. This one is such a big patch just because of, well, one, the things that releases, but also it's kind of teasing what the roadmap is going to release. So you can see here, this is the whole roadmap that they released a while ago. But, I mean, I think the basic campaign, I think it might be in the Patreon version. But, I mean, we've got artillery support in this one, which I'll get into. But that is, I mean, kind of edging into fire support. First thing is the change to the aiming control. So, as you know, or maybe you didn't know, but the way you control the weapons in the game were very different. You had to basically control the velocity of it by moving your mouse, not a lot, but not directly proportional to your mouse. So now it seems like invert palm switch. So by default, it's inverting that. I think it's still about the same, but you don't have to hold right mouse button. We'll see what it means, but I think it says tap right mouse button to dump. So that might mean you're controlling it always, but then you right click and then it won't move at all. We'll see what it means once we get in the game. But highlights. So first things first is the M60A1 RISE passive. So this is another kind of type of the M60, and there's a coincidence rangefinder, which is this really, really cool thing. Let me go ahead and increase this because there's no reason to have all that blank space. But we can see here that you can basically range find automatically just by focusing the image instead of, well, guessing and checking, basically. So right here it says when the rangefinder is active, you will see a ghost image where anything that not indicated by the range appears to be doubled, and then you adjust it until the target appears to be in a single sharp image, and then place, aim at it, and then you can fire, and that should be range. So you can see the differences here. There is the double effect. This should be a really nice thing to have just so you don't have to do the whole ranging process. You can just very quickly do this on the fly, which is awesome. Then the auxiliary sights have been added to the M60 M1 tanks, which can be accessed via the view change button. So this previously, just when you're, this will just change like third person, first person kind of stuff like that. But now we also have the auxiliary sights that are automatically changed by the gunner to suit the loaded ammunition type. Like most single scope reticles, you can also illuminate them by default. So this is basically another way to aim. If I'm understanding this correctly, telescope right here, but you should be able to basically just look around without controlling the turret now. Then artillery support. So this is huge. It's a work in progress feature. For now, you can call in fire missions and many instant action missions. So that means, many instant actions, not all. So that means that they did limit it to some of them. But be warned, the enemy may do the same. So this is, we'll see how it plays out. The AI in this game is pretty good. I don't expect them to like constantly smack us in the head wherever we are, but that's going to pose a really big threat. So you can't just stay in the back of the map, snipe, and they shoot back at you. That's really the only threat. But now with this, it'll call an artillery on you, so you're going to have to be constantly moving. This won't really play as much of an effect on smaller maps. You can't just stay still. But that's really interesting. We'll see how that plays out. So now AI vehicles using the IR intensifier type night vision are now affected by infrared illumination when spawning targets at night. So the IR intensifier, that's going to be like the T55A, where it uses a spotlight. You can see here, that's the spotlight shining it. They'll better see when their own searchlights are active and will occasionally use them when observing. There's a catch though, IR illuminators are also easily detected by hostile AI, which I guess that means it wasn't a thing previously. I don't really know if it was or not, but now it's confirmed. Use caution when night fighting, as your IR illuminator will make you a blazing beacon in enemy night vision. So now it's definitely a thing that you have to be conservative with your spotlight use. This is obviously going to make it harder for Op4 to do their thing during night if it wasn't hard already. But well, again, we'll see how this plays out. Just going to have to be a little bit more tactical with it. So I'm going to zoom out again for this one. But Changelog, This is a very long changelog, but we'll go through it. So first thing is they added 2 new instant action missions to the Northfields map, several new campaign missions. This is, again, I believe it's only Patreon. Added the Yes tank range, which is a work in progress, in a bonus preview content. I guess the Bob Semple tank was not bonus preview content enough, so it's been demoted, but added the M60A3 RISE passive. Gotta have the entire name, can't just say M60 RISE, that's gotta have the passive. With optical rangefinder and passive night vision sight. Use the laze key to toggle the coincidence mode, which is this right here. So they add the RISE passive to the mission Kingly Kayak. That might be a one of the new instant action missions, probably is. Indirect fire support system usable from the map view. Barrages to some missions. I'm assuming that means artillery barrages. I don't know if that means scripted, like in the same place every mission, or if that means that the AI can do it. We'll see. Ability for AI vehicles to use the IR illuminators. So previously they just kind of looked through the night like AI would. They couldn't see anything. But now I guess they have to use the IR illuminators, which makes it just that much easier for Blue 4. Add auxiliary sights to the M60 N1 type tanks. God, this thing is a tongue twister. With automatic reticle switching for ammo selection. Add hitboxes for destroying the main sights, so that's kind of to be expected. That's pretty cool. Crew voices for the M2 Bradley. This is not a thing, so that means that they're going to be different than the M1 and M60. So we'll see what how different it is. New reticles for the wide field of view mode for thermal sights of M60A3 TTS. Abrams and Bradley. Note the Bradley is the toe crosshair for the wide field of view. I know what this means, but to just put into words, this is basically when you have a sight that's all the way out and you have the sight all the way in. It's not just like a zoomed in version of the normal normal view sight. It's like just a completely different interface, kind of. So I think that's what it means. But then the toe crosshair. So it's just it's not going to have like a special sight or anything. It just uses the toe view. New explosion fireball effects for ammo detonations. And new audio effects for reload engine and equipment in the Abrams tank. So some of that is work in progress. I remember them saying this. It might have been on a live stream or something. But they're going through the process of kind of revamping or improving the audio effects for the tanks. And I think the Abrams are the first, and they'll move from tank to tank. Added distance effects to explosion audio. This is really cool. So basically there'll be a delay based on the speed of sound. More IFE plus Patreon names and credits. Turret control or palm switch is now inverted by default. There's a new toggle in case you prefer it the old way. AI vehicles with intensifier type night vision will now be using the AR illuminators and will more easily detect targets that are shining one towards them. You can see this how you want, but this could mean two things. It could mean one, they just see in general better in both these scenarios, or they see worse when they're not using the illuminator or when they're not using an illuminator towards them, and they're seeing better with them. So like instead of it normal, but then they just get an additional, like, I guess, view power, it'd be a normal, like a less normal view power, but then a higher normal, like this, if that makes sense. AI vehicles now turn off their marking lights in combat. I believe that just means like the convoy lights is what it's called in the menu. Projectile impacts on things other than combat units no longer count as hits. Abrams tanks now have more plausible default unit markings. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but that's a thing. So again, just to touch on it, obviously we're not in this roadmap right now because it is the early access. It's kind of early access technically, but early access refers to when it goes to Steam early access, and that's September 6th, I believe. So although this is not this, it is not the fire support thing, it is kind of what I would see as like a test on how this fire support will work. So first they're going to do artillery. They're going to see how well their artillery works. They're going to tune it more, and then they'll probably add in or change to fire support, like actual fire support, and use the same mechanics of the artillery, but just add in like the visuals and stuff. 2 more instant action missions. So far we have Keen Kestrel, Kinetic Key, and Kingly Kayak. North Fields, yep, there they are. And also, we'll go to the options, because it's probably going to add it here. You can see it's not here, but for now, I just hold down right click. So yeah, for now, it's just kind of like this. I'm holding down right click and I let go, and it doesn't move, and I'm moving my mouse around now, it doesn't move anything. Oh my god, I honestly was, used to the other thing. Okay, so this is, you hit right click and it dumps it, and also just keeps it there. But then you have to hold right click to not move it. And then there it is, invert palm switch. Now let's shoot the T70, or yeah, the T72 here. Let's see what it does. Let's fire. Run the ammo. That was pretty cool. I guess while we're here, may as well test T55. I think I completely missed. No, I didn't. Maybe we'll give it a second. That looks like it normally has. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I don't remember the turret flying off on the T55, but wow, those shockwaves are pretty cool. Let's try shooting. I don't really know if I remember. Oh, where am I looking? I don't know if I remember that kind of hit sound. That might be new. Now the next thing is, let's go into the thermal view. So here we've got white hot. This is zoomed all the way out, and let's zoom in. I mean, you can see what I mean. It's just kind of zooming in the entire screen. It's not really a whole different view. And we'll go to the M1. It's, again, the same thing. And the Bradley, it's basically just zooming in. This is the normal view, but we swapped to thermals. Okay. So now we are in the wide FOV, and it is the tow site. And then it zooms in to that. Okay, let's swap to the M1. Okay, yeah, it's definitely different. And the zoom in version is the different version, or the normal, quote unquote normal version. The M1 IP, that's just the same. And then the M60 TTS, that is the same, basically. So first, that's the same as M60. Yeah, I mean, that's the same as the M60. Yeah. Oh. Oh, wow. It's like higher pitched. That arrow, I think that's about the same. But it's like more higher pitch. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so let's shoot at these. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, the outside sounds the same. That makes me happy. That's so cool. Oh my god, man, now it makes this M60 sound like crap. Awesome. Okay, so what you're hearing there is it firing, the shell ejecting, and landing in the basket. I don't know what that hum is in the background, because I know it's not an autoloader in the M60 or M1. I mean, you can hear the door opening and closing. I don't know if that's it though. There's something else back there. Anyways, the crew voices, the up sounds the same. I'm sure in like in game when they're screaming and everything, that'll be different. But that's a really, really cool change. Oh. Okay, that's weird. Where am I looking? Whoa, okay. Feels like faster, I don't know. So, okay. Interesting. So there is no more... There's no, like, laser range finding in this thing. You can see I'm pressing E, it's swapped with this. So this is the normal view, and it just looks like a normal sight. When I press E, it enables this, and you can see I'm changing the range, and it changes the picture. So when we tune it in, which is, like, there, this should be... Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so that's... I don't know... Like, it's definitely far easier than manually range finding and really anything else. But at the same time, I mean, the laser is going to be faster than this. But that's pretty cool. The sight is weird. It's a circle. Okay, so then you press C while you're inside the gun sight. Because C out here, that swaps the like first-person commander view and the third-person. But inside, you have the gunner view, press C, and you've got the... independent sight. Now, if I look to the side... Wait a minute. Oh, it's stuck together. So all the way back here, let's just try that, this aiming way. So if I aim at this... Okay, so that's definitely more prevalent. Okay, wow. So I was scrolling like several hundred meters here, and it's kind of hard to see. So I need to get closer to the screen. So at long ranges, it's kind of difficult. I honestly, oh wait, I think this might be on. Okay, yeah, I can see a double picture there. So I think this is right. So what was it, like 2000? So if I shoot now, okay, so I was about right. So I think it's more like 2100. Yeah, that's pretty spot on. So, you know, it takes a little bit of time. The further out they are, it's a little bit more difficult at this like 2000 range versus the 800. Let's swap to this one. So now, so on the right, the numbers are so small because, you know, APDS is really accurate. So it doesn't have a huge curve. So that kind of looks in line where 21 would be. When I shoot right now, it is kind of like in the same level as 21 would be. HE, maybe heat would fall under that. I mean, it's not, obviously it's not the same round, but we don't have APDS in this tank either. Oh, it completely changed it. Yeah, so you could totally aim with this this thing. It's just there's no reference to know how far it is out. And maybe, oh shoot. Now? Cool. Well, those are some very nice changes, some very welcome changes too. Oh, they added the free cam controls to this one, so no longer are all of the some of the controls secret. That's pretty cool. I've been kind of getting more into the Gunner GHPC content. I have made some guides of the first few levels, and I also made a Gunner GHPC control guide, which I think was the last patch, if not that before that patch. But anyways, it's still it's still to date. There are no really big controls that have changed aside from the addition of the RISE. I don't think the RISE really warrants a whole nother tutorial for the controls. But anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.